Ah, Joe, that ain't even good enough. Come on, Joe. Ah, thank you, baby. Thank you. You making blood come from my damn mouth. That's what I'm talking about, baby. You gotta make blood come to the mouth. You can't just smack me and don't hit me hard. That's bullshit. When you hit a motherfucker, you hit that motherfucker. Let's kick their ass, motherfucker. Kick their ass. Let's go.
Well, it is almost football season, ladies and gentlemen. Preseason has been well underway for the start of the 2026 NFL season. With that being said, I wanted to come on here and give my thoughts on who's definitely on the hot seat in terms of players, coaches, in my opinion. I want to firstly state that some of these players and coaches are on this list for different reasons. Some are on here because their failure to really produce at a high level has been very noticeable and has been head-scratchingly bad. And others are on this list because they've been sitting on the cusp of making it to the promised land one too many times for my liking. Now, I'm sure some of these individuals on this list will piss some people off. I really don't care. From what I've observed over the past few years and a few seasons, these individuals make the clear candidates to be on this list. They need to wake up this season and get a fire lit underneath their asses because the clock is ticking. They need to put up or shut up. Now, to start the video, we go out to the AFC South division with one particular quarterback who's clearly on the clock to perform at a higher level compared to what he's previously shown the past few seasons, which is Mr. CJ Stroud. CJ's first 3 years in the NFL have been a doozy, man. Been a real interesting sight to see considering he went into his first season with a lot of expectations on his shoulders as the number 2 overall pick. He performed well in that season, I'll give him credit, in his rookie year, and had people contemplating whether or not he was a top 10 quarterback in the league already at the end of that season. Now, I believe the public, along with himself to a degree, have gotten a little ahead of themselves with that proclamation. Because for the past 2 seasons, his statistical numbers haven't been the same since his rookie season. Least amount of touchdowns while barely passing above 3,000 yards, along with missing games because of injury, and turning the ball over more than ever, including that very putrid performance in the AFC divisional game last year against the New England Patriots. In that game, he threw 4 interceptions. And to me, 4 interceptions in a playoff game is just unacceptable for a 3-year starter who has playoff experience. Now, going into this upcoming year, there's really no excuses for him right now not to perform. He's got good skill position players with returning this season like David Montgomery and Woody Marks in the backfield, Nico Collins, Jalen Noel, and Tank Dell returning in their receiver spots. Don't even get me started on that ball in the Texans defense, please. To have the best, if not one of the best defenses in the league as your team defense really puts the offensive side of the ball under a big microscope. And the first player they're going to analyze at the end of the season if they don't perform is going to be CJ Stroud. If I'm being completely honest, anything below an AFC Championship game appearance and CJ Stroud having an elite season in terms of throwing at least 3,800 to 4,200 yards, 25 plus touchdowns, and less than double-digit interceptions would be considered a failure in my eyes, to be honest. Now, staying in the AFC conference, we got to address 2 receivers in the AFC who are both sitting in the same position currently, in my opinion. Those names are Xavier Legette, Keon Coleman. Now, what I find very interesting with this is the fact that both of these guys seem to be forever linked considering what happened in the draft a few years ago with the Bills trading back, giving that pick to their postseason nemesis Chiefs, who used that pick to draft Worthy. Now, at the time, people thought this was a silly move by Brandon Beane and the Bills, but after a few seasons have passed by, that decision hasn't seemingly not benefited really either one of the teams, to be honest. Keon Coleman has been a guy who has yet to come into his own as a receiver in this league, only tallying 67 catches with 960 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2 seasons so far. I'm sure the Bills expected a lot more from a guy that used a high second-round pick on, considering the fact that Ladd McConkey got drafted right behind him. The fact that he hasn't been able to stay healthy and the Bills bringing in DJ Moore in the offseason should be a huge wake-up call for Coleman. He's in a year 3 of a 4-year deal, and I do not see the Bills giving him an extension if he does not produce. Anything less than a productive season for him may mark the end of his time in Buffalo. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have Worthy, who I can admit, in my opinion, has been a bit more productive out of the 2. But it's not like he's lit the world on fire with his production. He was drafted by the Chiefs to be this long downfield presence that have been lacking for the past couple years since Tyreek Hill departed to Miami. But it's been 2 seasons. While we have seen some flashes and some glimpses of his ability, it's been far from consistent. Last season, he got hurt on the Chiefs' first opening drive of the season where he collided with Travis Kelce on a basic routine drag route concept. He spent the rest of the season basically playing through that, and given that his production hasn't been up to par for the Chiefs for what they need right now, especially considering Mahomes is coming off a very major injury, along with the nonsense going on with Rashee Rice at the moment, this is Worthy's best opportunity to step up and prove he can be the guy that the Chiefs hoped he could be. I gotta be honest, Xavier Legette is another guy I have to struggle with and struggling in terms of mentally understanding what he's doing as a receiver. He's another guy I kind of scratch my head at. There's a good physical specimen, big guy with a good straight line speed. I'm still waiting to see if he can really be a complete receiver in this league. His route tree is kind of basic. He seemed to struggle to get off the press and to catch the ball consistently. And considering the fact that he's out there in Carolina and their team has actually gotten a lot better, and they just drafted in 2025 the Offensive Rookie of the Year, McMillan, and the fact that Jalen Cooker, who got drafted in the same draft as Xavier Legette, you start to wonder what's going on. The fact that Cooker was in the same draft as him and it developed a lot better compared to him, and the fact that he didn't even get to start as much as Legette did this past season, you start to wonder what's going on. He put up better stats than him. I'm still waiting to see him become a complete receiver and show what he can do in this league, but the clock is ticking. The Panthers are only going to wait so long. He's got to figure it out and he's got to get better. Show that he can be a number 1 receiver in this league, or at least be a complimentary piece in terms of a number 2 on this team. But we'll see what happens. Man, I feel like it's become a yearly occurrence with this dude. Once again, it needs to be said once again. When is Justin Herbert finally going to step up and prove he should be in the conversation to be a top 5 QB in this league? Every single season it seems to be the same song and dance with him. Has a good season for good quarterback standards, only to get to the postseason and look like a shell of himself. 6 damn seasons in this league and he has yet to win a goddamn playoff game. And in those playoff games, he's 0-3 while completing only 54% of his passes, along with 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Man, I'm sorry, but the nonsensical excuses that have been conjured up for years for him need to stop. Whether it's him not having the right coach, not having enough weapons, not clicking with the offensive coordinator, whatever, I'm tired of hearing about it. A lot of those things have been addressed over the past few seasons with the hiring of Jim Harbaugh, who has proven to be a damn fine head coach in his tenure with San Francisco and his tenure now. Also, joining the squad was the offensive guru Michael McDaniels, who's proven to be a great offensive mind. As even though I know his time in Miami didn't end the way he wanted to end, when they were firing and clicking on all cylinders, he proved to be a great offensive mind. Hell, they also brought in a decent tight end in David Njoku, who's proven to be a decent tight end in this league. He also has offensive standout Lad McConkey coming back and Quentin Johnson, who's looked good in recent memory. Hell, they also drafted Trey Harris in the 2nd round last year, who's still coming into his own as a receiver in this league. Now, I say all of this to say this. What the hell more does a talent like Justin Herbert need? He has the contract. He has the coach. Hell, he even has the girl in some people's eyes. He has the entire Chargers fan base behind him. It's put up or shut up time for him. Now, I might sound like a broken record on this video, but anything less than an AFC Championship game appearance from him will be considered a failure in my eyes. He needs to get it done. It's as simple as that. Now, the fact that a guy like Aaron Glenn is on a proverbial hot seat, considering the fact that he's inherited a bad team and a bad culture and a bad team in general when it comes to the New York Jets, over a guy like Zack Taylor, who's basically been given the gift of God in terms of who he's had as a quarterback these past 5-6 years, is crazy and astounding to me. We're talking about a guy over the past 6 seasons has been a decent head coach in this league, but has definitely never had his team ready to start the NFL season in terms of regular season performances starting off the season. Here's a guy who's been, if you give him a lot of leeway and credit outside of the first 2 years without having really Joe Burrow fully intact and ready to go, this guy hasn't really lit the world on fire in terms of what he's done as an NFL head coach. You know, he's 46-38 if you want to disinclude the first 2 seasons he was in Cincinnati. And he's 5-2 in the playoffs, which I give him credit for. Hell, I even give him credit for the fact that he was able to stop the Vaughan Chiefs dynasty in 2021, beating them on their home field and going to the Super Bowl. But once again, that's the top of the iceberg, the top of the mountain when it comes to his accomplishments and things he's done as a head coach. Past 3 seasons, he ain't made the playoffs. And when coaches aren't able to make the playoffs with teams like that, with a wide receiver core who most people could consider to be a top 3, maybe even best wide receiver core in the league, and having a consensus top 5, top 3, maybe even best quarterback in the league, you not be able to make the playoffs the past 3 seasons, that definitely has to have some eyebrows raised. I don't know what he's going to have to do this upcoming season in terms of getting his team ready in shape. I've seen their training camps apparently have been a lot more tougher, a lot more stricter, and getting them ready to start to open the season. That's good. Hopefully they come out ready and prepared and tackle the season headstrong. But I think not getting to the AFC Championship game or maybe even getting to a Super Bowl should be on their bucket list going into this upcoming season, especially for a guy like Zack Taylor. To be honest, his firing wouldn't shock me one bit if they come out lackadaisical halfway through the season and don't look like they're going to make the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. I'm not wishing the man to get fired, but if he comes out lackadaisical again, I don't get why the alarm bells aren't ringing for him to lose his job. Now, another guy I was real disappointed with when it comes to his rookie season last year was Mr. Shamar Stewart. Here's a guy who really had a lot of raw production, raw-ass prospect with a lot of physical ability, but I was kind of shocked that he didn't have much production in this past season. I know that plays a factor in the fact that he got hurt and that he wasn't ready to perform at the best of his abilities. But this is a guy who didn't really have great production in college, but was a raw-ass prospect. I never thought he'd be amazing going into the NFL. I thought it would take him a few years to really get his standing with the team. All the theatrics he pulled before signing his contract definitely didn't help matters in terms of Cincinnati fans and the NFL fans in general. So I get why people were not really keen on him. But a guy like him, he seemingly needs to get healthy and stay healthy and maybe be a rotationary piece on that defense because that defense isn't very good. Hopefully build that defense to be a really good defense in the future. He should be playing about 15 snaps a game in a rotationary role, in my opinion. And if you can see some of his output get better in terms of his pressures compared to where he was last year going into this year, I definitely think that would be a better version of what he could possibly be in this league. When he got drafted, he seemed like he was always seemingly a low floor, high ceiling type of guy. But what I've seen so far, I've seen more so a low floor type of guy versus a high ceiling. So we'll see what happens. I think 5 to 6 sacks this season would definitely suffice in putting together a better season compared to what he had in his rookie year. Oh man, I hate to do this to my guy, but it needs to be done. Todd Bowles, the head coach in the NFL, is definitely one of those coaches on the proverbial hot seat. Now, whoa, before I hear people complain and have a bunch of outrage, I can hear it already. But he has 3 division titles in 4 years. You know, he's been great. He came up with a great defensive game plan to stop the makings of a dynasty with the Kansas City Chiefs. I get all of that. I understand it. But winning divisions that are not good with 8-9, 9-8, 10-7 records respectively isn't really something anyone should be bragging about. Especially considering the fact that the Bucs have gotten to the divisional game only once under his tenure and have a 1-3 record in the postseason during that span. Now, I know Todd is a good coach who understands X's and O's and is a pretty good defensive game plan coach. I get that. He's a good defensive-minded coach, but statistically his defenses as of late are trending in the wrong direction. And considering the fact that star quarterback Baker Mayfield is basically playing on a 1-year prove-it deal as they failed to come to terms with him on a long-term deal this past offseason, the clock is essentially ticking. The head coaching seat is nice and toasty out there in Tampa Bay. Todd has been a 500 record coach at best in his career. That's just who he is. If he can't figure out how to get this team further in the postseason and show the NFC conference that they're real threats to win, then maybe it's time for him to hit the old dusty trail and head back to being a defensive coordinator. Now, Jordan Love seems to be the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to NFL quarterback play and being great as a quarterback and having some bad performances and having some good performances as a quarterback. Here's a guy who's done a great job of keeping the ball in the right hands and not turning the football over as much the past few seasons. Last year was his best touchdown to interception ratio of his career. And he really did a good job coming into his own as a starting quarterback in this NFL season. Now, he's another guy you look at and say to yourself, he's really, really good in the regular season. He does a great job, but can he get it done in the postseason? I know the fact that how his season ended last year when it comes to Chicago Bears getting eliminated in the playoffs definitely left a poor taste in his mouth along with the whole Packers organization. There's a guy who's 27 years old coming into his physical prime, going into another season, who's looking to get more. He's looking to get closer to the Super Bowl, maybe get to a Super Bowl or at least get to an NFC Championship game. That's my expectations on him going into this season. He's got a lot of weapons on that offensive side of the ball. I'm looking to see him perform well, have another great season in the regular season, and show up in the playoffs and perform at a high level. Can he do it? We'll see. I know he's one of the media's, quarterback darlings in terms of being able to be a great quarterback, but he's got to prove it when it matters most. Those last two performances against the Bears weren't very good. Even though in one of those games he threw for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, he definitely didn't show up in the last few drives of that game. So I'm looking to see him step up and actually put these guys away and actually move forward within the playoffs. We'll see what happens. I'm rooting for him because I like him as a QB, but you never know. As far as some heavy hitters on this list are concerned, I feel like it's pretty redundant to over and over and over talk about the same guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They're two of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL who can both tear apart a game and break a game wide open. But they're also two quarterbacks who mentally seem to shell up in big moments. I don't know why. Now I know that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen fans are going to be very up in arms, upset. Why are these guys on this list? These dudes are two great quarterbacks. We all know it. But come on. How many seasons are going to pass before one of these guys finally steps up and gets it done? Both have been awarded the MVP of this league, and both have been on perennial Super Bowl contending teams. But neither of one of these guys have been able to at least get to a damn Super Bowl. Both are closing in on a decade of play in this league and have yet to make it to the grand stage. Both have a lot to prove in the stacked AFC conference. The clock is ticking on both of them to prove these naysayers wrong. I want to see one of these guys get there and get it done. They're too great not to be able to do it. Now to close out this video, I want to state that these are my individuals who I believe are definitely on the hot seat or need to have make or break type years this season. I know there's some honorable mentions that I could have added to this list, like maybe a Kyler Murray who basically got shipped out of Arizona and is now on a 1-year prove-it deal in Minnesota. Or maybe a good coach who's yet to be very successful in terms of adding Lombardis on his resume, and Matt LaFleur, who most people can argue has had good top 10 NFL rosters nearly every year he's been coaching for the Green Bay Packers, along with having a supposed franchise quarterback in Jordan Love, and he's yet to make a damn Super Bowl yet. Hell, even guys like Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, and Geno Smith are on their last legs as possible starters in this NFL league. Trust me, I get it. I understand why some of you may be wondering about this guy or that guy, but my main objective was pointing out the most obvious of the bunch of guys that need to have very good to great seasons of success. They need to achieve a certain level of success that has eluded them for so long, or show the promise that people have been waiting to see from them since they joined the NFL. I'm very, very interested to see who can pull themselves from the edge of the abyss and achieve greatness on a level that they didn't believe was possible in their NFL careers. Now we'll see who rises above all and who falls by the wayside. Thank you guys all for watching, and as always, until we meet again.